Good afternoon, students. For the today's session of SAP, second session of SAP. Today we have Nagraj sir with us for the session. Sir, you can proceed with your class, sir.
Thank you, Kunal. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Yes. Even before we had a break for lunch, there were a few questions like, can the consultants edit the master list once it has been created? Yes, the consultants can definitely edit the master list after the creation. Not a problem. Sir, if we can change our accounting software in one branch situated in another country, will we have to change it? So normally what happens here is either you need to have a compatibility between the software what you are using overseas. Your sister concern is using some other platform, and here in India you're using some other platform. You would strike a balance between how you need to actually talk to each other. Else, probably uh, your consolidation could be an issue. Because whenever you summarize the results of all your other branches or your company codes, when some other thing, some other branch is using some software and another branch is using another software, probably the consolidation could be a issue. So it has to strike a balance as to how you need to make the softwares talk to each other. Okay, I think I have answered that point. I'll definitely explain the special periods. Can we assign chart of accounts to more than one company code? I think I have already answered. So basically, when you're talking about the operational chart of accounts, there is only one operational chart of accounts which can get assigned to one company code. One operational chart of accounts can be assigned by or can be assigned to only one company code. But okay, I will tell you that. You can definitely account for the quarterly. Yes, you can do it. I will show you how you can do it on the quarterly basis when I take up the next topic. All right. So how I'll definitely remember this question, or I'll make a note also. Quarterly closure of accounts, how SAP allows you to do it. So this I'll be taking up when I talk about the posting periods. When I talk about this topic, I'll definitely answer that question. So even before we closed our first session, I said the operational chart of accounts is mandatory. So even before you carry out your transactions in any of the company code, you must and should assign the company code to your operational chart of accounts. The same chart of accounts, the same operational chart of accounts can be used by n number of company code. That is possible. But one company code cannot use more than one operational chart of accounts. This is mandatory. Not mandatory. Not mandatory. These are all need based. Only and only when there is some scenario, you got to use this. Else, it is not mandatory at all. So under what circumstances, this operational chart of accounts, as the name itself suggests, why is it mandatory? Because, so what are you going to do with the operational chart of accounts? You are supposed to assign it to a company code. Anything what you create in your SAP system, all right, must and should be assigned to an entity. And our entity for our discussion for the finance module, it is your company code. So everything what a financial consultant creates must and should be assigned to our company code. So in the case of your chart of accounts, assignment of an operational chart of accounts is mandatory. Else, how will you expect SAP to understand what sets of general ledger accounts is your company code using? And how will you start your transactions? Correct? Now, your group chart of accounts. When do you start? When do you find a requirement for your group chart of accounts? Your group chart of accounts is required only and only when you have the concept of consolidation. If at all there is no concept of consolidation, you may not find a requirement for your group chart of accounts. Not required. And when do you use the country chart of accounts? The country chart of accounts is used only when there is a unique accounting requirement for that particular country. Okay, but in most of the cases, I have never used a country chart of accounts. None of my projects, I remember they have used the country chart of accounts. They have not used. But these two, yes. But for us to learn the finance module, your assignment of your company code to the operational chart of accounts is more than enough. And it is mandatory. Now, I hope I was clear. Now, how does each one of the chart of accounts talks to the other? There has to be a connection, right? I said when I talk about the consolidation principle, I need to talk some more points. This is one of the points which I want to clarify. I open the SAP system. Just hold on. This also, as I said, is a typical role of a consultant. OK, but you need to know how these three types of charts of accounts are connected to each other. Because when I'm talking about the consolidation, how does the consolidation happen? It is through the transactions in your company code. And what is that allows the transactions to happen within your company code? It is your operational chart of accounts. Now you got the connection. Let the SAP system open. Probably at that point in time, you will be more clear. OK, now what did we see before our lunch? We saw the assignment of the chart of accounts to our to the company code. So assign. So you saw 0001 getting assigned to INT. What is this INT? If you want to understand, what do you do? Press F1. It will take you into the explanation. Go to chart of accounts and it will tell you a brief explanation as to what is the chart of accounts, right? So this is how you make use of the F1 function key. Now, what is this? Somebody has erroneously assigned, not a problem. Country chart of accounts. Why is this used in the first place? The usage is optional. It is not mandatory. And only necessary where the chart of accounts you're using is not allowed by the national regulations. So your country chart of accounts is used only when you have to deviate to meet to the requirements of the geographical or the accounting requirements of that particular country. Or this itself is more than enough. This is mandatory. This setting is mandatory, but giving the information of the country chart of accounts is optional. See, as you can see, you see most of the company codes, they are not even talking about the country chart of accounts because it is not required. Now let us see our GM01. So it is assigned to GM00. See, so this also answers the question of whether one chart of accounts can be assigned to multiple company codes. The answer is here. And this is typically your project scenario, because once you create, as I gave you an example of Tata and Sons, you create a master list of the general ledger accounts meeting the whole business of Tata and Sons. You're not going to consider only TCS, only your car manufacturing, only your consumer business. No, you don't do it. You consider the whole of the business of Tata and Sons, and then you create a master list so that all the businesses, they can get assigned to the single chart of accounts. Clear? Now, what about our consolidation group chart of accounts? So what did we see now? We saw operational chart of accounts and the country chart of accounts. Now, where do we see the consolidation group chart of accounts? Go to edit chart of accounts list. Go to GM00 or GM01, sorry. Our chart of accounts is GM00, correct. Can you see it is a chart of accounts for GM01? Double click. Now, can you see any reference to the group chart of accounts? Can you see this group chart of accounts? The consolidation, under the consolidation block, you see the group chart of accounts. Does it have any data? It doesn't have, because GM01 is not talking. I have assumed that my company code is not following the consolidation because it doesn't have an head office. I'm assuming that I am implementing SAP for only one company code and not for a group. So you can take the help of SAP F1 and it will tell you the explanation. Chart of accounts which is used in the corporate group. Okay, so this will help you in consolidation. This is your first step to establish your consolidation principle. But is it mandatory? It is not mandatory. Only when your company code is talking to the mother company, then and only then you have the group chart of accounts, or else you do not have. Clear? As you can see, you have so many other informations about the chart of accounts. See, somebody was asking if the data can be deleted. Now, let me assume I want to delete GM00. I'm pressing the delete key. You see it getting deleted. It doesn't get deleted at all. Why? Because one thing what you need to understand, the non-editable fields, they turn gray in SAP. Do you see the color changing? Is it the same color as that of this? So you can see that non-editable information, okay, they are gray in color. But can I change this chart of accounts? I very well can change. So generally speaking, whatever fields they are displayed to me in white or in yellow. See, these fields can also be displayed to me in yellow color. Okay, so whatever fields they are displayed to me on the SAP screen in the white or in the yellow color, they are editable. Now you can see the English language, it is maintained in the English language. The length of the general ledger account number is six digits. I will explain this portion, this part, controlling integration, only when I take up the CO module. Clear? So does this answer some of your questions or most of your questions? So this is where you establish the relation between your company code and your head office. This is the first place. So you assign your operational chart of accounts or your group chart of accounts to your operational chart of accounts. Yeah. Now just see the case of 0001 or INT, sorry, INT chart of accounts. What do you see? Now you see that it is talking to the group chart of accounts actually in your normal SAP system or your standard SAP system. You will see that it has the CONS, consolidation chart of accounts. Here, just for teaching something, I would have assigned it to GM00, but actually this has to be a group chart of accounts. And this is the typical standard arrangement. Even in your standard SAP system, you will see CONS as the in this system. Unfortunately, CONS is not available, though it is a standard SAP system. It is a standard product or it is a standard entity in the SAP. But unfortunately, it is not there in the system. Okay. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about, the charts of accounts. So if there is a question asked, what is the mandatory condition of a company code? It can be assigned to only one operational COA chart of accounts. And what is the relation, how SAP talks between the charts of different charts of accounts? You just saw it now. Correct? Did you understand? Okay, not a problem. If at all you have not understood or if the things are not clear, I'll redo this particular part. Not a problem. So it was interesting, right? And we also saw how we need to have a look at the master chart of accounts, that is the operational chart of accounts. We saw that, right? I extracted that report into Excel also. Okay, I did this yesterday also, and maybe today morning also I showed it to you. Clear? So just take 2 minutes because what do I do next? Operational fiscal year variant also we have done. So I have also told you what is a special periods. So there was a question as to what is a special posting period. Special posting periods are used to accommodate the only to accommodate the entries as advised by the competent authorities at the financial year closure. Only then you have the concept of special posting periods. Because let me assume that we are supposed to close the books of accounts on as of for which period of accounts is this? It is for this period, right? And where are we today? In the month of May. May 2024. Correct? Now, I have given my books of accounts to my auditor. Okay. And he issues an entry as of today. He issues the entry for this particular financial year as of today, my May 10th, 2024. But to which year does it pertain to? To the previous year. This is the scenario in which you use the concept of special periods. I hope this question is answered. What happens if you pass the entry as of today itself? If you pass the entry as of today, it will flow into the accounts this will form a part of this accounts. If you pass the entry as of today, this is the effect. It will affect the books of April 24 to March 25 accounts and not this. Is it what you want? No, I'll have to affect this entry for this period. I hope, and this is exactly where you use the concept of special periods. And SAP allows you a maximum of only 4 special posting periods. Okay. Yes. Just give you 2 minutes to think about whatever has happened. Think over and come back to me with questions. The short intermittent breaks I give just for you to understand the topic. Whatever I have said, it gives you a better clarity if you start thinking over it, and instead of postponing the question to tomorrow, which you may forget, you can think over it and come back to me straight away. In the meantime, I will just retrieve the course content so that I can show it to you. And this also probably you would have been taken through how you need to extract this. You are extracting this through Learning Hub, if I'm right. Now, just let me pull out the things what we did today. See, I will skip all this for the time being. We will definitely come back to all this. Consolidation with chart of accounts. See, I'm in page number 266. So what is the concept of chart of accounts? Identify the different types of charts of accounts based on the purpose. This is exactly the INT, the bank, the CACA, and there are many other standard SAP creations, CAUS. Okay, don't worry. See, operational chart of accounts, the group chart of accounts. Okay. See, chart of accounts for financial statements. We are going to look at the topic financial statements, not to worry. To use a special create a group for each chart once this is done. Okay, probably at this present moment, you may not be in a position to understand the meaning of this, but I've already explained. All you need to do is connect it. Just read them. You can define an unlimited number of charts of accounts in the SAP system. Many country-specific charts of accounts are included in the standard SAP system. But for us, INT is what we are going to concentrate upon. See, as I said, they're all created in the SAP system as a part of the standard product. CAUS, then CAES. Okay. Now we can see the demo. If you use operational channel in a company, it is not an issue. For example, not a problem. You can read it when you are. So you are not new to the transaction code SPRO. See, can you see that cons? I just wanted to take you back to the. Can you see this cons? I showed you at one point in time, CONS. But unfortunately, if at all you want to see it in our system, it is not there. So that is why normally we should be very, very careful on working on the SAP standards. Accidentally, you may end up messing it up without your knowledge, not your fault. For a person who doesn't know how to work on the SAP system or doesn't understand the importance of the standards to be maintained, it is obviously done. The mistakes always happen, not a problem. How to link an operational chart of accounts to group chart of accounts. I think we saw that also. Anyway, just have a look at it. In this demonstration, you will see how to link an operational COA to group chart of accounts. That is what you'll be able to see. This part I will show you. Because I have still not got into the general ledger account master, I didn't show you this. So I just showed you where you need to connect at the chart of accounts level. This is at the GL level. Don't worry, I'll show you this also. We have still not come to this place. Anyway, so I don't think this is going to make a difference. Not a problem. I'm going to show this. So there's just some graph trying to tell you what is the country chart of accounts. Okay. You can just read them through whenever you find time. What does the demo have here? To complete the simulation, you can use the country chart to fulfill the. Okay, let us see what this example has to tell you. You will go to SPRO. You remember I showed you this in the chart of accounts, master data, GL accounts, preparations, edit chart of accounts list, or assign, whatever. So you saw the screen assignment 00012 INT. See GKR, he's taken some other example. GKR is assigned to company code 1000. Can you see this? Country chart of accounts GKR is assigned to, we saw this, right? Of course, not from this example, but I showed you the place where you need to assign the country chart of accounts. But as you can see, it can also work without any reference to the country chart of accounts. Okay, it is under some circumstances that you assign the country chart of accounts, not every time. Okay. Now what do we have next? What is this? How to link operational chart, country chart, country G. Or with the accounts in the country chart of accounts. We'll look at it later. So all these things, probably if you have understood the concept, it is not. It is going to be easy. Just try to concentrate on understanding the subject conceptually and bring it into your regular business need. As I've always said, understanding SAP is nothing but you are converting your regular business into SAP. That is all. Nothing more, nothing less. Clear? Now. So now I think you have understood the concept of the special periods. Somebody had asked me. Now, what is the next thing that we are going to look at? Somebody asked me, how is the quarterly closure of accounts being taken care of in SAP? It is through a concept called as okay, I'll make it here itself. One more variant in your SAP Finance, posting period variant. Now, I personally would call this as an extension of the fiscal year variant concept. What we saw here, okay, it gets extended to the posting period also. Why? Now, what was the role of the fiscal year variant? The role of the fiscal year variant was just to tell the SAP system as regards the financial year, whether it is April to March or is it from Jan to December, whether it is something else. So the consultant would understand the requirement of the business and accordingly he would do it. He would configure or he would use the variance which is already built within the standard SAP system. That is allowed. SAP will not stop you from using its standards. Correct? Now, as you saw, my company code GM01 was assigned to V3. Absolutely no harm. Because V3 was defined as a fiscal year variant, meeting my requirement to explain or to describe it as a April to March financial year. So GM01 is following the April to March financial year. Perfect. Now let us assume, now I'll bring in this. I think I had already put it up somewhere. So your financial year would definitely start on April 1st and close on March 31st. Now, your business has the legal requirement to close the books of accounts on a quarterly basis. So how is the quarter divided? April to June is your first quarter. July to September is your second quarter. October to December is your third quarter. And Jan to March is your fourth quarter. Correct? Now, does this information being held in the fiscal year variant? The fiscal year variant simply tells you about this. That's all. Again, I'll copy this or I'll paste this so that I'll bring it here. All right. Now, again, as we had 0001 as a standard company code, INT as a standard chart of accounts, K4 and B3 as a standard fiscal year variance. Do we also have a standard posting period variant defined in SAP? The answer is yes. What is it defined? Again, it is defined as a with the 0001 as the code. Please do not get confused. 0001 is also your company code. 0001 is also your posting period variant. Okay. Now, why is the same naming followed? This is called as a naming discipline in SAP. Normally, we follow the same pattern. Clear? Whatever we define has got some meaning. We do not haphazardly define some of the things what we define. It has to be uniform. It has to be clearly be connected. So that is the reason we follow uniformity in defining our variance. So 001 is a standard posting period variant. as a part of the standard SAP system. What does it contain? Now here you have two concepts. Through this posting period variant, what can be achieved? You can control the accounts to which you can transact, the period of transaction. These two things can be controlled through the posting period variant. The types of accounts. To which we can carry out the transactions. Now, what do I mean by this? This portion can be controlled to something called as your account groups. Account types. I will show you where you can see this. The type dot to the nature of transactions can be controlled through some concept called as your account types. Okay, I will tell you how the period of transactions can be controlled. Now, if you look at the general connection, or you can see the general definition, your 0001 company code is assigned to 0001 posting period variant. If you see standard SAP system, your 0001 company code gets assigned to 0001 posting period variant. Just give me a moment, I will show that to you. So again, this is not a part of the end user's work. It is a consultant who does all this. I'll go to the same place where you saw the fiscal year variant. So can you see the combination fiscal year and posting periods? It is nothing but an extension of the fiscal year variant principle or the fiscal year variant concept. So can you see the posting periods? You can just read it through. Let me just explain it more clearly. Define variants. Now, first, let me go to the definition, population, and assignment. Can you see the three steps? Define the variant, populate the variant, and assign the variant. Now, the first thing is I will tell you the standard assignment. Can you see? 0001 standard company code has got assigned to 0001 as the standard SAP system. Yeah. Now you can see the other users, they have defined their own variants, posting period variants up to their requirement. So let me see my company code GM01. So see, normally this is exactly what happens. So I have created a variant GM01, which I have assigned it to GM0. Can the same posting period be used for the other company codes? Definitely yes. That is not a problem. So we saw the assignment. It is for, now let us read. Oh, sorry. I'll just go to this posting periods and tell you what is a posting period. I wanted to show you. Not a problem. See, account types. You saw me mention there, right? So I will take you where exactly it is. So now, definition. How is 0001 and GM01 defined by the consultant? He executes this option, define variance, goes to new entries and defines the new variant and saves. Clear? Now, where do you see GM01 or your 0001? Variant 000. You see GM01 also? Obviously, you will see GM01 also. Clear? We saw the assignment. Now we will see how data will be brought in to that particular posting period variant. What information does the posting period variant give to the system or to the user? And then I will address how the quarterly closure is carried. Open. Which thing you want to see? Let me first check with GM01 only. Can you see this? I use the term called as account types here. Can you see this account type? Now I'll press F1. You can see the SAP here. It says for masking. Let me not confuse you with other thing. Now let me see how many account types are already available within the SAP system. But basically, what is an account type? It is the nature of the transaction what you're carrying. Let me pull out the list. You understood anything? This is the standard definition of SAP. ADKMSV. Plus is indicative of all the nature of accounts which you have in your chart of accounts. It could be belonging to your material accounts, it can be belonging to your asset accounts, to your customer account, your vendor account. Your plus includes all. Your A stands for asset types of accounts, account GL accounts pertaining to the asset transactions. Similarly, your D. Why D? It is up to SAP. Okay, they have maintained it as D, so be it. That's it. The whole world is happy with this definition, so it's okay. K for vendors. So any customer and vendor related transactions can be controlled. M stands for materials. And your S stands for your general ledger accounting or for your journal voucher transactions. Now, did it make any sense? Just wait. What do you see in this line? Forget this line for the moment. Please do not concentrate on this line. Concentrate on the first line. What does it say? All the nature of accounts plus from account number 1 to account number whatever, how many ever GL accounts they are using. They are open from period 1 of the year 2023 to period 12 of period 2024. Now, what is 1? What is 12? This information is collected by SAP through the fiscal year variant definition. Clear? So which variant are we looking at? GM01. Your GM01 company code would have got assigned to some fiscal year variant. What is the fiscal year variant that GM01 has got assigned to? V3. So what is V3? April to March. So here it doesn't tell you whether it is April or January. You will have to understand from the fiscal year variant definition to which fiscal year variant your company code is assigned to. So from there you will have to understand. So here your first period pertains to April 2023 and your 12th period refers to March 2024. From whichever period it is open and for whichever period it is closed. Now I will take now that question. Let me extend it to now. This is the month of May and I'm following the April to March financial year. Is the condition understood? Now my company closes the books of accounts every quarter. But all the accounts can be posted from the first period of 2024, which is April 2024, up to March 2025. Is this what I want? No, right? I need to close the books of accounts every quarter. So what do? From the first period of 2024 to the third period of 2024. So what is the first period? It is April. Why April? Because your GM01 is assigned to V3. What is V3? April to March. Did you get the connection? So what have I done here? I have restricted the transactions for all the general ledger accounts to happen only for the first 3 months. Now I move on to July. How does the consultant change from the first quarter to the second quarter? So did you see? I shifted over from the first quarter of 2024 to the second quarter. So it involves, what is the fourth month of the financial year? July, because it is V3. So April is the first month, May is the second month, June is the third month, July is the fourth month. July, August, September. Now are you getting the connect? So this is how I allow or disallow. Now, if I save this, I cannot carry out any transaction for the first quarter because My financial year is open only for the second quarter. I hope this was understood. I hope you have understood. For any other questions, most welcome to put it up in the Q&A section. Now let me remain in the first quarter. Now I have already allowed all the accounts to be transacted for the first quarter. Now there is a scenario for my customer saying that he wants to have a strict control over the asset postings. Probably he's purchasing some very costly plant and machinery, or maybe say whatever. So he wants to have a strict control as regards the inventory position of his assets on a monthly basis. He wants to scrutinize the asset related transactions. Okay, for 1 month. I'm in the first quarter, the month of May. I'm in the first quarter. So I want the asset postings. Can you see A stands for assets? What happened? So I'll go back to the same place. If I'm moving around a little fast, please stop me. Because I'm moving fast, because this is not a part of your job. It is a job of a consultant. So that is why I'm moving a little faster as far as the navigation is concerned. You don't have to do all this. Probably you'll not be even given access to the SPRO screen. So where were we? We were in the posting periods. We were in this option. So we were trying to extract information of GM01. So we changed the settings. So we were in the now my business is sensitive to asset accounting, and I want to allow the asset accounting postings to, I want to control the asset accounting postings on a month-on-month basis. So I'm in May. So I would want to have the asset postings to happen only for the month of May. Now do you see? No doubt I have opened all the accounts to be operatable. Okay. It can be 25 also, not a problem. This can also be 25, not a problem. So I have allowed all the types of accounts, your plus AD, KMSV, for the first quarter, for the first 3 months. But now, if you see, I have restricted the asset accounting to happen only for the current month. Why is it two? Because my my company code GM01 has got assigned to V3, the fiscal year variant, and your 2 here means May. Because April is the first month, May is the second month. So this is how I enable the quarterly transactions to happen, quarterly closure to happen. Was the concept understood? I hope I have answered the questions from the consultant perspective as well as from the end user perspective. The end user won't be even knowing about all this. The consultant would have quietly gathered the requirement and he would have configured the system in this way based on the requirements of the business. The end user will simply keep working. He will not even know how things are controlled and where the things are controlled. Clear? This is about your posting period variance. Was the topic understood? Any questions? Please let me know. Let me take up the questions. Accounting month or so, but we close the books every quarter, so we need to set up a specified time periods. Function of management accounts. What is this? How does SAP handle multiple chart of accounts? So you saw the connection, right? This is for a person who has asked, how does SAP handle multiple chart of accounts for different legal entities? So you saw the connection, right? How your operational chart of accounts gets assigned to your country chart of accounts and how it gets assigned to the group chart of accounts. That is how SAP handles that situation where there is a concept of multiple chart of accounts. It is that. But if you're talking about only the operational chart of accounts, all your legal entities will be assigned to only one operational chart of accounts. One Mr. Hirsch has asked me this question. If you're talking about the operational chart of accounts, please bear it in mind that one operational chart of accounts will be used by any number of legal entities under the same head office. There cannot be different charts of accounts, operational chart of accounts. Please make a note that I'm talking only about the operational chart of accounts. I hope I have answered that question. Why do we need to assign this company? If we do not assign the company code to the entities which we are creating, it could be your fiscal year variant, it could be your posting period variant, it could be your chart of accounts. How will the system understand what is the company code using? What is a set of general ledger accounts that, see, I will give you an example. See, I am implementing SAP for Hindustan Unilever. All right. So Hindustan Unilever will obviously be following a different ledger accounts. Now tomorrow, I may be implementing for, let us say, TCS. So TCS, according to his business, will have a different set of general ledger accounts. So how will SAP understand that TCS is using a different set of general ledger accounts and Hindustan Unilever is using a different set of general ledger accounts? So that is why you need to establish the relationship always to a company code. I hope I was clear. Could you please explain difference between general ledger account and the chart of account? Very simple. The one general ledger account, if you're taking, for example, your rent account or your salary account, will be contained in the master list of your general ledger account, which is called as a chart of accounts. So a chart of accounts is a huge list of all the general ledger accounts which is used by the business. For example, your chart of accounts will contain the GL accounts for your rent account, your salaries account, wages account, whatever. Okay, so your chart of accounts is a huge list of all the general ledger accounts which your company code will be using to record its day-to-day transaction. Your rent account is one GL account, but this rent account will be contained in a master list, which is the chart of accounts. Clear? So for example, in our INT, what is INT? It is a master list under which you have something called as a salaries account, overtime account. Clear? Did you understand the difference? Lots of confusion how to set up COA for new, please guide through SAP. Lots of confusion how to set up chart of accounts for a new organization. See, the chart of accounts is a creation done by the consultant. So are you confused about the concept of chart of accounts? So what is a chart of accounts? It contains a huge list of all the general ledger accounts, which is used by the company. So you are creating two things. One, the company code in SAP, and the second creation by the consultant is the chart of accounts. So both of them have to be assigned. The chart of accounts has to be assigned to a company. Simple or complicated? Okay, I will show you how I logged in. What is a special period? I think I have explained that. Which account? Most repeated account in the chart of account. See, there is no question of repeating the GL account. See, the rent account can be only one, correct? So how can the rent account keep repeating? There cannot be two rent accounts in SAP, or as a matter of fact, even in your master. Clear? So there is no question of which account is most repeated account in the chart accounts. Okay, I think if at all I have answered that question, I'll be more than happy. Yes, you need to definitely create your own chart of accounts, or if you do not want to create, you can create a copy of the standard INT, give it another name, and then you can start using it. You need not have to create a new chart of accounts. There is also a second method where you can create a copy of the standard, give it your name, start using it, and assign it to your company. What you can do. Okay. See, could you please explain how to check chart of accounts of a particular company code by end user? See, the end user will not be even having access to check to which company code your chart of accounts is assigned to. All right. Why is it ever necessary? The end user may or may not have the access or may not have the authorization to check which company code is using which chart of accounts. Clear? It is only when he wants to understand the system in a much better way, he can ask questions and then he can understand. Chart of accounts again, okay. It does not show the SAP menu. I will tell you. Any other questions? Which type of detail is present in why we need to export it to Excel? See, which type of detail is contained in the chart of accounts? The chart of accounts simply contains the general ledger account number and the name. For example, account number 1 is your rent account. Account number 2 is your salaries account. Account number 3 is your wages account. Something like that. And you will see where this 1, 2, 3 is being used in the transactions. I told you that account number 1 is rent account number 2 is salaries account. I just gave you a small example. This is your chart of accounts. It contains the GL account name, GL account number, and the GL account name. Why should we export it to Excel? It depends on the requirement. See, if your boss asks you, can you give me the list of general ledger accounts which our company is using? How will you show it to him? So you will have to download this information onto something like say your Word or maybe your Excel or whatever it is. Then you need to show it to your boss. You cannot simply take your laptop and then you cannot ask him to just see what is there. Correct? You'll have to download this and show it. The auditor can use SAP system for any company. Depends. Depends on which company is auditing. He can have the access for that particular company for which he is auditing. NetWeaver. NetWeaver, as the name suggests, it is a combination of all your SAP components and other things, utilities. We saw that graph, right? All right, it contains all your SAP apps and your SAP components. Clear? This is your SAP NetWeaver. NetWeaver, that's it. In which scenario posting a variant applied? Could you please explain with example? So I was explaining the posting period variant, where it is applied and how it should be applied. It is for allowing or disallowing your types of transactions, whether you want to carry out transactions for assets, whether you want to carry out transactions for customers, for your vendors, or for your journal vouchers. Okay, this is where your posting period will allow you to use this particular nature of general ledger accounts for you to transact. Function of management accounts. So what is normally the management account? What does it do? Your management accounting module is basically used for your strategic management decision making. It is basically for your top level management. All right. I hope I was clear. Don't worry, probably it may take some time for you to digest all these concepts. Clear? So I think you're finding it a little complex while trying to understand a few concepts. Okay, don't worry, I will do my best to explain as simple as possible. Okay, now posting period, right? And the fiscal year. Let me just check where exactly you find it. Just hold on. Now this is exactly what we were looking at. I'll quickly so your chart of accounts. I don't know. This is in the chapter financial organizational structure. Yeah, this is about your chart of accounts. There was something. Where is posting period? Is there anything posting period? Let me just check. Probably here you may find that posting period. Let me just hold on. Just hold on. Is there no reference to the posting period variant? So this is your vendor account. We have still not reached there. This is about your basic concepts, the building blocks for your SAP finance module. Is it confusing? Is it not understood? I definitely should find this accounts payable, general ledger accounting, financial controlling master data. I should definitely find it here, no? About the posting periods. Let me search. No search, is it? I should definitely find it here, but I don't know why I'm not able to find out. Let me just quickly check once more. Where is the C? Okay, I'll get back to where you can see this. I'll get back to you on that. Or is it somewhere? Just hold on. Could it be here? Financial statements. Let me just have a look. If I could just show you. Could it be here? No, it is not even here. Where else? Just give me 2 more minutes. I will. Financial statement versions. Oh, it could be here. Opening and closing periods. Yes. See, this is where your topic, page number 350 in my course content, open and close. Did you understand anything? These 12 are your regular posting months. These are your special posting periods. 1, 2, 3, 4, which you use for your, you know the purpose, right? Why you have to use your special posting periods. One more thing. Can everyone control the opening and closure? See the activity which I did from 1 to 3, 4 to 6. Can it be done by any person? No, it is only the authorized people who can do it. Clear? I will show you where exactly you will find that authorization group. So you see each and every activity, not everyone can do. Okay, they are restricted to only certain individuals who form a part of the authorization group. Where do you see this authorization group? I will take. Can you see this authorization group? If you want to read more about from the SAP help, just press F1. The authorization group allows extended authorization protect for particular objects. Don't bother about this. So it is enough for you to know that not everybody will be in a position to carry out this change. And this changes also must happen only after you get a go ahead from your top level management. Clear? Especially in this case, where you need to understand that you are actually doing it for only 1 month. Authorization to special users only. All right. So this is all about the posting period, what your study content tells you. So today we have seen about the chart of accounts, the different types of chart of accounts, how they are connected to each other. We saw the fiscal year variant. We saw the posting period variant. What else did we see? So we understood what and how you make use of the posting period variance. We came to know as to what is a, how do we achieve this in SAP, the quarterly closure of accounts, or even as a monthly closure of accounts. Any scenario can be handled in SAP. But the only thing is the consultant should know how he needs to develop the system so that it meets the requirement of my customer. All right. Now, so concept 1, concept 2, concept 3, 4. Now, our next thing is something called as. Now, what is the next information that the consultant should provide so that you can carry out the transactions in your company? So what I'm trying to tell you is, how do you complete the creation of a company code so that it is in a position to accept your financial transactions? So till you finish all of this, your company code will not be in a position to accept your financial transactions. The next concept is, what I was trying to tell you is, though this concept could be a little not understandable, do not worry about them. If you feel that I'm giving you more of the consultant side of things, do not worry. Okay. Now, the next important thing is your retained earnings account. What is this retained earnings account? So what do you do when you close the books of accounts for a year, for a particular financial year? As your commerce graduates, you should be very clear So what do? You close the books of accounts and transfer the balances of your profit and loss account to the next year balance sheet. Don't you do it? So how was this activity carried out in SAP? Carrying forward the balances of the previous year profit and loss account to the next year balance sheet as a profit or a loss. How is this done? This is achieved in the SAP system in the form of the retained earnings account. Where do you see this topic in your course content? Can you see this? Retained earnings account. Understand what is a retained earnings account and understand the balance carry forward process. You can read them. Now, this is all about your retained earnings account. But did you understand anything? No. I will take you to the SAP system and make you understand that. I need to relog it. Just hold on. So somebody was asking me for the login process. So I double click on this GUI, the graphic user interface or the launchpad. So yesterday, I think you had a fair idea as to how to download this onto your systems. And people who have already downloaded this in the earlier stages need not have to redo it. OK, I'll double click. I'll click on the relevant SAP system on which I'm supposed to work, ER2. I will enter the client on which I am supposed to work, give my user ID, enter my confidential password. It takes me into the SAP system. All right. Now, to show you the retained earnings account, I'm getting into the consultants screen. Financial accounting, general ledger accounting. You do not have to remember all this. I'm just trying to explain the concepts. I'm not expecting you to do this. All right, it is enough for you to know that there are these things existing within the SAP system. And the next important thing is each one of the item is very, very important for you to complete the definition of a company code or to make the company code ready to accept the financial transactions. So all these things are very, very necessary from a consultant's perspective to carry out all the functions even before he hands over the SAP system to the company. So I go to the general ledger accounting. So can you see that each one of the topics is just one below the other, right? In the order of, normally I could have defined this account group, but it's still okay. I'll explain that in the next part. Now, what is a retained earnings account? You will have the same thing. At the end of the fiscal year, the system carries forward the balances of the P&L account to the retained earnings account. And finally, this gets transferred as a profit or the loss to the next year balance sheet. How is this done in SAP? How is this achieved in SAP? Is interesting. It is in the form of a general ledger account. Let me see the system definition itself, INT. Always I take the example of the standards so that you are understanding the system in a much better way. GL, this is a simple general ledger account, which is a part of your chart of accounts also, which is being defined by the consultant. What is this X? It is an indicator. Where do you see this X? I will be talking to you on Monday. First, I will explain the concept of retained earnings account and show you where this X is assigned. I will simply show you to you today. And yeah, okay, let me do that. So this is what it is, a simple general ledger account. If you want to see this general ledger account in your INT chart of accounts, I will show it to you. What is this X? I will show. Okay, not a problem. And how is this defined by the consultant? He goes to new entries, clicks, and then creates and saves. This is how your 9 lakhs, 9 followed by 5 zeros, which is a simple general ledger account in your INT chart of accounts, is created. And to add, this is the first and the foremost general ledger account which gets created in your SAP system by the consultant. Just a moment. Now you wanted to see the general ledger account 9 lakh in your chart of accounts, correct? Is this, see, definition is a job of a consultant, but to see, the consultant is not the only person who should see this. A end user can also see this. How? Go back to your end user screen. Here I'll be slow because I want, this is a typical end user activity. I just want to see the general ledger account. Okay. Even you would be interested to see that. General ledger. You see something called as a master records, GL accounts, individual processing. I will clearly explain as to what is the 3 options. Don't worry. So what was the general ledger account that we wanted to see? 9 followed by 5 zeros in company code GM01 or your 0001, whatever. See, somebody has disturbed all these things. Not a problem. Okay. I'll go to GM01 itself. Yeah. It is a balance sheet account. This is of a nature balance sheet, and it is not a P&L account. I will explain this on Monday. Here I have brought you to the screen only to see the 9 lakh GL account, whether it is existing in the company code or not. Or do you see it in the chart of accounts? Which chart of accounts? INT. Can you see? Can you see this German language? Because when we saw the INT chart of accounts, the language was German. Maybe just before the lunch break, I showed it to you, or maybe after the lunch. Can you see this? No problem. So this is how do you create a general ledger account? I will show you. How this 9 lakhs, how is the other GL accounts created? I will show it to you. Clear? One more thing. I wanted to show you, you saw something called as X, right? Where do you see that? Now I'll open some of the, let us say, one general ledger account. See, can you see this? So what is it that I told you when I explained about the retained earnings account? It carries forward the balances of the P&L account to the next year balance sheet. Clear? So what does it ideally do? It summarizes it does all the plus and minuses of all the profit and loss account. This is a water account identified by the code 416300. Why is it 416300? It is how the customer has asked me to define the general ledger accounts. Okay. So 416300 is the general ledger account for the water account. This is the general ledger account number. This is the explanation. This is what you would typically see when you pull out a chart of accounts. So since this is of the nature P&L account, it is an expense account. So you can see it is of the nature P&L. It contains this. Now, do you see the same X for a profit and for a balance sheet natured account? See, it is a balance sheet account. It is 1000 standing for it is a capitalization of your land, real estate and similar rights. You don't see that because it is a balance sheet account. Now, did you understand? So basically, this is an input for you that you need to have a categorization of what is your P&L account, what forms your balance sheet natured accounts. This is how SAP allows you to do it. We still have so many things. So now I think you are in a good position to appreciate what SAP Finance does. Yes. So these are all the things to be borne in mind, not from your perspective, but at least from a person who's experienced in SAP Finance and who is a consultant who does the consulting for his clients needs to know. So this is all done by the consultant. So what happens in the live projects? All the general ledger accounts, they are first made a big list in the Excel form. Then this Excel file is uploaded into SAP. This Excel file may consist of 2000 general ledger accounts or even 5000 general ledger accounts or even 7000. So all these 7000 general ledger accounts will get uploaded into SAP through LSMW. Okay, of course. I can just show you how LSMW is done, but not with the updation or the uploading of the data, because the construction of the Excel sheet itself takes a lot of time. Clear? So this is about your GL accounts. I have just brought you into this GL accounts. Okay. Now, while opening, you saw something called as an account group. But this is my next topic. You saw this particular, since it was an asset accounting GL account, it fell under the fixed asset account group. If I give another general ledger account, bank account, see, it is of the nature general ledger accounts. Clear? So each category or each set of general ledger accounts, they are necessarily created as a group called as accounts group in SAP. What is the concept of account groups in SAP? So all your banking related general ledger accounts, they are grouped in one category. All your material related GL accounts, they are grouped in one category. All your, let us say, asset account vendor, you can think of whatever categorization your customer requires. All right. So these many account groups will be created by the consultant. So this necessarily is called as the account groups in SAP. So account groups, what is the meaning? You are simply grouping the similar nature general ledger accounts into its relevant group. That's all. Nothing more. Who designs this? It is the consultant. So while the end user is carrying out his transactions, he will not even know anything about the accounts. He need not know. Simple as that. He need not know. I'm simply exposing you to the terms because you saw them in your course content. So we saw the retained earnings account. So now we will see the account groups. One second, just a moment. So did we see here account groups? See, you see the account groups here. So here you have the asset related, material related, profit and loss rate. It is up to however you want to categorize. But the requirement and how and what best possible solution you can provide to your customer is the capacity of the consultant. Clear? Do we have any questions? So as you can see, this is only the slide which it talks about the account groups. But if you want me to show it to you, there are lots and lots of things. But I'll keep myself to the minimum possible extent. Okay, because the job is something else. Our requirement is something else. I'm just exposing you to the terms. That is all. Okay. Do I see any questions? Let me spend 5 minutes. No new questions. Yes, in the case of your sister concerns and the holding company, you can definitely have the transactions through the concept called as your cross-company code transactions. Okay. What makes SAP superior? Sorry, I will not be in a position to answer this question because I have no idea about the other ERP softwares. Discuss the advantages of audit. What is the significance of audit? Please hold on. The document posting account assignment model. I have still not come there. Okay. Please hold on with your questions. If we have put 1 to 3 in the posting period and we enter the year 2024-25, put it into 24-25. That's all. Or you can make it between 24 and 24 only. Not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. Okay, since obviously you can't enter the transactions for 25-26, right? If you're in the 24-25 financial year, you can't obviously enter the transactions for 25-26. So it obviously means you are carrying out the transactions for the current year only. All right. Can you please, if the standard company code in the posting period, discuss the procedures? Can you please explain the difference between standard posting period? So the company code is the legal entity to which you are carrying out the transactions. The posting period variant 0001 is an entity which controls. What does it control? The nature of transactions, whether it is an asset related transaction, whether it is a material related transaction, whether it is an customer related transactions. So based on the restrictions or based on the requirement of your customer, your posting period variant controls this and also controls the time period for which you are carrying out this transaction. All right, if at all there is a restriction, month on month posting, or maybe say quarterly posting. So in which period are you actually carrying out the transaction? Okay, so this is the difference between your company code and your posting period variant. I hope I was clear. which type of detail is presented in? Okay, that's it. So I think somebody has asked me about the F-02 transaction. Please hold on. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be too very excited. Okay, we will definitely, by asking these questions, you will be confusing the others also, because as I said, I am catering to the requirements for people who have not seen the SAP system. So if you're talking about the transaction F-02, I think such questions should be avoided. Okay. This is not the platform for such questions. Recap of today's session. Yes, I have already done so. Okay. So I think we have done. So I think there was too much of a coverage today. Do not worry. Okay. And you don't have to understand these things. You will definitely you will definitely take time to understand the depth of the topics. It is not that once I have explained once or twice, all the concepts will get into your head. Okay. Don't worry about it. Do not just try to have a hang. Just try to understand the subject. You don't have to uh, understand from the consultant's perspective. Don't. Okay. So Kunal, I think we can wind up for the day.
Sure, sir. Thank you, student, for today's session. Now we are wind upping the session of today. Be in time for tomorrow's class at 11. Thank you.
Thank you. See you on Monday.